Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Gold Rush fans startled by shocking Succession reveal. Gold Rush Season 14, Episode 15 was titled Succession, and it aired on Discovery Channel on January 5. Now, an observant viewer found something startling, and they wondered if it was set up at Parker Schnabel's camp. Additionally, they felt shocked enough to wonder why it wasn't censored on the show. Gold Rush Season 14 episode Succession startled a viewer. The synopsis for the show wasn't really anything out of the ordinary for the mining show. According to Pog Design, the Beats family implodes trying to get the Paradise Hill trommel running. Parker starts sluicing Australia Creek and finds a big surprise. Rick makes an all-or-nothing decision to return to Rally Valley. As usual, it seems that the Beats family struggles to get the team working together, which impacts production. Rick Ness is back at Rally Valley, and the heat is on for him to make or break. Edge-of-the-seat stuff for those people who love Gold Rush. Meanwhile, Parker Schnabel thinks about selling off expensive machinery if he doesn't meet his targets. Of course, it's all or nothing for him, which makes some people question the reality of the Discovery Channel show. Irrespective, there's no denying that something else shocked a viewer who shared a screenshot on Reddit. What shocked the viewer? The OP seemed taken aback by the screenshot because they didn't expect to see it on Discovery Channel. Perhaps it was missed in the edits because it only shows for a few seconds. In the discussion that followed, many people doubted that it was Parker's camp. Additionally, it became clear that plenty of miners fly the flag or display it in Canada. Therefore, seeing it in Gold Rush didn't shock the socks off everybody. I don't think that was over Parker's camp, but the family they visited in that episode. Parker keeps his yard much neater. He is also an American, from Haines AK, but he is mining in the Yukon Territory in Canada. Why take the risk of pissing off any government agency? He's a much better businessman than that. I don't see why they would censor it no matter where it was. It's a common sentiment among miners whose lives Trudeau has made much harder. It isn't Parker's site. It is the McCoggin site. It isn't really profanity because it is censored already. It wouldn't matter if it wasn't censored because Gold Rush is not broadcast on regular TV. And on cable and streaming, it is usually rated TV May coarse language. Providing, of course, you actually noticed what the flag said in the 9 secs out of 5,013 seconds of the show. A Gold Rush fan, eager for their weekly dose of treasure hunting drama, settled in for an evening of panning for gold and high-stakes rivalry. But as they switched on the TV and prepared for a night filled with excavators, dirt, and prospectors' dreams, little did they know that their usual show was about to collide with an unexpected twist from a different world altogether. The fan had been loyally following Gold Rush for years. They knew all the miners' names, their backstories, and every little feud that boiled over on the claims. It was comforting familiar. The formula was always the same. People chasing the dream of striking it rich, tensions rising as breakdowns happened, and the ever-present question of whether this season's haul would make or break a miner's future. But as this particular episode rolled on, something felt different. The usual anticipation was there, but so was a strange sense of something lurking, something off the beaten path of Yukon and Alaskan wilderness. The episode opened with the miners discussing new strategies for the season. Parker Schnabel, as intense as ever, was calculating the best way to maximize his profit. Tony Beats, never one to shy away from hard truths and hard liquor, grumbled about his competition. It was a typical Gold Rush scene until the camera cut to an unfamiliar setting, a sleek, modern office in a New York skyscraper. The fan blinked in confusion. When was this? Had the network made a mistake and spliced in a scene from another show? But then the figure in the office chair swiveled around, and there, in full view of the camera, was none other than Logan Roy, the patriarch from Succession. For a moment, the Gold Rush fan was completely stunned. What was Logan Roy, media tycoon and power-hungry billionaire, doing on Gold Rush? The two worlds couldn't be more different, one filled with mud, grit, and fortune seekers, the other drenched in opulence, corporate power struggles, and cold-hearted ambition. The crossover had begun. As Logan adjusted his suit and glared at the camera, the Gold Rush cast members remained oblivious to the fact that their reality was colliding with another. Parker Schnabel was still barking orders at his team, trying to outwit the next breakdown. Tony Beets was still stomping around his claim, muttering Dutch curses at faulty equipment. But Logan had other plans. In his deep, gravelly voice, Logan Roy addressed the camera as if the Gold Rush fan sitting at home was part of his latest boardroom scheme. "Gold," he said with a smirk, "it's all about power, isn't it? Doesn't matter whether you're digging it up from the dirt or leveraging it on Wall Street. It's the same game." The fans' mind raced. Was this some kind of elaborate prank, a special episode to mix things up? They had tuned in for gold nuggets and sluice boxes, not hostile takeovers and cutthroat corporate battles. Yet they couldn't look away. As Logan spoke, the episode transitioned seamlessly between the worlds of Gold Rush and Succession, with each scene growing more bizarre. 1 minute, Parker was discussing the rising cost of fuel and how it was eating into his profits. The next, Roman Roy was offering Parker a dubious investment deal, promising to cover the costs in exchange for a small stake in his operation. The negotiation was tense, with Parker's blue-collar pragmatism clashing with Roman's slick, fast-talking arrogance. Meanwhile, Tony Beets found himself in an entirely new situation. Instead of dealing with machinery issues, he was facing a different kind of machinery, the corporate kind. Shiv Roy, Logan's razor-sharp daughter, appeared on his claim, clipboard in hand, offering him a contract that would guarantee funding for his mining operation. But Tony, never one to trust suits, was skeptical. "What's the catch?" Tony grunted, his eyes narrowing as he peered over the contract. Shiv smiled, but there was no warmth behind it. "The catch? Oh, nothing too big. Just, we own you." The Gold Rush fans sat on the edge of their seat, completely caught up in the bizarre yet thrilling merger of worlds. This wasn't just a gimmick. This was high drama, combining the raw, physical stakes of mining gold with the psychological warfare of corporate succession. And it worked, in the strangest way possible. As the episode progressed, the stakes kept rising. Logan Roy made it clear that he wasn't just interested in watching the miners dig up gold. He wanted in on the action. With his vast resources and cutthroat tactics, he began orchestrating a hostile takeover of the Gold Rush operations, pitting Parker, Tony, and even the Hoffman family against one another. "I'll run you all into the ground if I have to," Logan snarled in a private meeting with Parker, his eyes burning with the same intensity that had made him a feared figure in the media world. But Parker wasn't backing down. "This isn't some corporate game, old man. Out here, you work for every ounce of gold. You can't just buy your way in." The Gold Rush fan was transfixed, their heart racing as the familiar world of mining was suddenly infused with the venomous, backstabbing energy of Succession. The tension was palpable. This wasn't just about gold anymore. It was about survival in a game where both worlds were at stake. The episode climaxed with a showdown at the mine, where Logan, flanked by his children, arrived in a private helicopter. The miners stood their ground, covered in mud and sweat, ready to defend their turf. What followed was a standoff of epic proportions. Logan and his children, armed with legal threats and financial power, versus the miners, who had nothing but grit, determination, and the land beneath their feet. As the screen cut to black, the Gold Rush fan was left in shock, heart pounding, mind reeling from the unexpected collision of two of TV's most intense shows. They had come for a regular episode of treasure hunting, but had instead witnessed something extraordinary, a crossover that had pushed both worlds to the brink, leaving them hungry for more. The preview for the next episode flashed across the screen. Logan's voice echoed ominously. There's more than one way to strike gold, and I always win. And with that, the Gold Rush fan knew they were in for a season unlike any other.